good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another edition of the Still Saved Show, where we sit down with some of the coolest people on the planet and break down the breakthrough. And boy, do I have a story for you today. Or maybe several stories. I don't know. A couple?
Yeah.
A couple? Man, I finally get to sit down with my homie Bizzle, bro. Let me tell you, this is an extreme honor, not to make you sound old. You know,
Don't do that.
I'm gonna try my best, bro. But your music has been very instrumental in my sanctification process. I had to throw the big words out there, but because when I got saved back in like '05, we were the Christian hip hop music scene was scarce. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which
I wasn't even saved yet.
I know.
I was waiting to be saved back in 08.
Oh man, '08. That's when my daughter was born. My first daughter. But it is, man, it's an honor. I'm a fan. I'm not just like a colleague or whatever you want to call it, but I've been a fan from the jump ever since the Jay-Z track. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure there was a lot of like attention surrounding that. But you've been consistent. You know, in terms of dropping music and consistent to your worldview and your beliefs. And I've always admired that about you.
Appreciate you, man.
But Bizzle in the building, bro.
Hey, I'm glad to finally be here, man. I know we've been waiting to set this up for a minute, so I'm glad we can get in.
Yeah. Got some new music coming out too, which I'm super excited about. I pre-ordered my joint.
Good looking.
You know what I'm saying?
Good looking for the people out there. Pre-order the joint. You know what I'm saying? We need that extra support out here in the CHH world.
And I could have asked. I could have just asked. You know what I'm saying? I could have probably texted you or hit you up in the DM.
I might not have sent it to you though.
Oh, dang.
You might not have got it.
Yeah, like, I don't care what radio station you work for.
Yo.
That's what I'm talking about, bro. That's what I love, dog. Like, there's no favoritism. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you've been moved by the crowds or people's, status. You know what I'm saying?
No, but that's something that the Lord broke in me or kind of got up out of me before or right after I got saved.
Yeah.
You feel me? And I don't know if you want me to go into it right now, I remember there was a time, right? You know, when you young, I started rapping at 8, right? Writing. I freestyling a little before that, trying stuff. I put pen to paper or crayon to paper at 8, recorded the first time.
What color was you writing in?
I think I got pink, orange, whatever I could find, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
Brown.
Whatever mood you was in at the time. Like,
straight up. But my first time recording was I was like 13, 14.
Yeah.
And so, in the same way that if I play ball, I'm gonna look up to the hoopers, right? I'm gonna look up to Jordan, LeBron, Steph, all of these people. Well, when you're a rapper, you look up to rappers. And so, I wanted to be a rapper all my life. And so as I'm older, I'm in LA and I'm grinding. There was a time where, we giving our CDs to 50 Cent, T-Pain. We running up on everybody. BT weekend, we out there plotting. You know what I'm saying? And so
strategically picking which party we gonna go to, or which event, because we know so and so gonna be here,
and we gonna send y'all to that party. We gonna go to this party. Like, we trying to cover the streets like everywhere. You feel me?
Look.
And so yeah.
Look, the game ain't changed much. Y'all better be paying attention. Look.
Look. When the BET Awards is rolling in, we moving. You feel me? And so what we do, there's a spot called Barry's out there. I think it's on like 3rd and Fairfax. They don't deserve no plug because they went up on their prices for their lobster pizza. But
lobster pizza,
I don't appreciate it. It's fire, but I don't appreciate it.
Yeah, they went up on their prices.
Yeah. But so it was like the after spot. After, so after even after like the parties, the clubs, all of that.
Yeah.
2:00, everybody hit Barry's. We know that. So what we would do is we go up in Barry's around like 1:45, and then we just linger. Right? We're gonna sit there. We're gonna drink water. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna take forever to order. Once 2:00 hits, then now you got the bouncer in the front, and you can't get in. He's only picking and letting certain people in.
But y'all already in.
We already in, because he wouldn't have picked us, because we wasn't lit like that, right? We still grinding.
Hey, at least you knew. At least you knew.
Hey, exactly, right? And so when that happens, everybody's only celebrities start coming in, and so you got Trina and Kenyon Martin over there, Slim Thug, DJ Unk. You got boxers, ball players. It's only celebrities and us. You feel me? And so, but once I got saved later on, I remember going back. I went back to that thought and I was like, yo, I remember being in there and looking around and seeing all these celebrities and that making me feel like I was somebody. Like being in their presence made me feel like I'm somebody. You feel me?
Man.
And so after getting saved and realizing I'm a child of God, it's like, how did I let being in the presence of mere sinful man make me feel like I was somebody when being a child of God did not create that feeling in me? You know what I'm saying? So I never wanted to allow a man being in the presence of a mere man to make me feel like that gave me more value because I was in your proximity. You feel me? And so he broke that, stars and all. He broke that in me through that kind of stuff. You feel me?
Yeah. And I think how dope that is, because being in the presence of God, Scripture says if we draw near to Him, He'll draw near to us. And sometimes that proximity tends to, the closer we get to God, that feeling of worth and value tends to come back. I don't know if you've experienced that over the years.
Definitely.
But the more time you spend in His presence, it's like, oh man, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. And especially like when I first got saved, that value absolutely came back. You know what I'm saying? And when you value yourself, not because of who you are and what you can do and what you can accomplish and none of that, right? That's the type of value that leaves. That's dangerous. Because if I have value because I have money, when I lose it, I don't have value no more. If I have value because of my looks, if I gain weight, if I get scars on my face, anything, your hair fall out, your value's gone. You know what I'm saying? Anything that can be taken away from you, you don't want to get your value from. But if our value and our identity is in Christ, that's something no man, no woman can take from us. Yeah. Therefore, when things go bad or things happen, if I go broke or whatever, my value stays intact because it didn't come from those things in the first place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I tell you this though, man. I know your value in Christ is strong. You anchored in the Lord, but your value in the world has increased over the years, right? Like you definitely are in those spaces now. Like I said, rubbing shoulders with the big dogs in terms of like what society thinks, right? Like you've accomplished some things throughout your work here on this planet, bro. You've racked up a couple of awards, lots of nominations. Bro, you've just put in a lot of work, dog. But it hasn't always been this pretty.
Definitely
right?
not.
It hasn't.
Yeah.
Now you in H-Town
And it
now.
still ain't as pretty as it look.
Oh,
if we being honest.
Listen.
You feel me?
Yeah, no smoke and mirrors here, right?
Yeah.
But with that being said, from the outside looking in, you've accomplished some things, and God has blessed you with some stuff,
Absolutely.
right? And yes, it does get, with each new level, it gets a little harder, truth be told.
Definitely.
But bro, take me back, dog. Take me back to, you haven't always, you're not from Houston.
No,
you live here now.
I'll come to grips with the fact that I'm kind of from Houston now. You know what I'm saying?
We have that effect on people.
Look, because I had to look back like, I really been here for like half my life.
Come on, dog.
You know what I'm saying? And so, when you from somewhere, I'm born and raised in L.A., so that's in me. And then you go somewhere else, you got to put on. You feel me?
But L.A. is one of those cities, too, where it doesn't matter where you go. Because for me, being from Houston, like I could go to New York, I could go to Jordan, I could go to Brazil. Like I'm H-Town through and through. I'm rocking my Stros, I'm rocking my Rockets.
Exactly.
Whether we winning or losing, right?
Exactly.
And I've seen the same thing about you and other folks from LA. It's like Compton, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying?
It is what it is. Like, but I had to start giving, H-Town, like, all right, you know what? I've been here. First of all, I love it here.
Come on.
And then, I've been here for long enough.
Yeah, be careful what you say.
I've been here for long enough to be like, you know what, man? I'm from H-Town and L.A. You feel me? Like, you know what I'm saying? This has a lot to do with why I am the way I am as well. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
And so, but yeah, I grew up in L.A. You know, with my mother, single mother. Pops was in my life. He stayed in Compton, so I've spent summers in Compton with him. Um, and then, you know, I don't like to. It's part of my story, but you know,
Right.
my pops was you know, pretty abusive alcoholic, verbally, physically, um, emotionally. You know what I'm saying? And so I had I was poor too, but I didn't really know I was poor. So we was in Section 8 and all that. But you asked me, my childhood was lit. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I didn't know till early. I was like,
We got
oh,
to play outside as
bro.
long as we
I
wanted to. We
thought
were innovative.
I thought eating top ramen was like a choice. I wanted that was my request. Can I have some more noodles, please?
Dog.
I didn't know that that's what we had to eat. You feel me?
I still eat ramen, bros.
You
Don't
feel
sleep on. Don't sleep on.
Yo, and so it wasn't too. I ain't gonna say it wasn't too bad. I just try not to dwell
Sure.
on the bad. I do
Yeah.
believe that there's a lot of things I shouldn't have had to see, shouldn't have had to hear, even about myself. Experiences that a child shouldn't have had to go through. And then you know you've been around your shootings and stuff like that as a child, and so now that I'm in a different space, I can go back and be like, dang, because a lot of that stuff becomes normal.
Yeah.
Like, bro, gunshots was normal,
Look.
mad normal. Like you don't hear it and be like, oh, what's that? You feel me? You be like, oh man, somebody just got lit up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Oh man,
More noodles,
that
please.
sound like a K.
Yeah.
Oh, you feel me? And
Yeah.
you going about your business. So as a
Man.
child, that should not be normal to
Nah.
you. Like so, like I want my kids to be scared if they hear guns. Like it should. I don't want that to become. You don't want to be desensitized to that type of thing. You feel me? And so I look back like, man, a lot of this stuff became normal. And so as I got older, you know, I went back to LA. And this kind of goes into my testimony, right? Because when I moved back, I graduated. I came out here in like 10th grade for the first time. Graduated, went back to LA.
Yep.
Um, did the music out there a little bit. Came back out here, did the music a little bit. I got a deal put on the table for like 15 grand. I passed on it. I said I'm about to go to LA. I'm gonna get 100.
Yeah.
Right, right. And so I go to LA.
I've seen some things. I know
Listen,
what I can
you
get.
feel
Yeah.
me? So I go back to LA. We grinding, and you know, I get a deal put on the table with Black Round Universal for 50. I'm like, I'm gonna get 100. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
But and don't get it twisted though, because I'm still struggling. I'm still struggling at the time. Like it gets around that time, it gets bad for me, and so I've done every version of the hustle that you can think of from the music standpoint, right?
Yep.
I've been the guy who's gonna walk up to you on the sidewalk and be like, "Here, you want to buy my mixtape?" You know what I'm saying? With the headphones, I got kicked out of the malls for doing that. You feel me?
Look, if you ain't got kicked out of malls for selling mixtapes, bro, like you
feel-
wasn't working.
Hey, listen. And so I've been at that stage. I've been in my ghostwriting stage for people. I've been, you know, opened up for Wayne and Jewels. I've been
Yep.
different stages of the grind and before I got here. And so a lot of dudes have been paid. But as I'm out there, money gets funny. You know what I'm saying? LA, first of all, is mad expensive. It's not very easy to make it. You feel me?
Yeah.
And so I'm out there in LA. I end up, you know, living out of my car at one point. I'm sleeping on a hardwood floor. You know, rest in peace, Liz, my best friend's mother. They took me in because I don't know where. You feel me? It'd have been bad for your boy. And so around this time, the money's getting bad now. My squad is called Lavish, right? At the time, and it's since middle school, Lavish Pimpin'. That was our clique, right? And so, wow, look at that. Look what it turns into, because nobody was pimping when we were saying Lavish Pimpin'.
Yeah.
Right? Look at the power of words.
Uh-huh.
And so, you know, now I'm grown and we doing this music. Now the music is being funded by, you know, selling drugs, putting chicks in the strip club, doing whatever, right? But I'm not doing it. The homies is doing it.
Yeah.
I'm the ticket out. I gotta stay out of jail. You feel me? And so
So you got to kind of quote unquote keep your hands clean.
I gotta keep
to some degree.
I gotta keep my hands clean to some degree.
Yeah.
And so, but eventually, bruh, like when everybody in the squad can go grab motorcycles because they decided they want to, and you can't, and everybody and folks like, yo, let's go get this, let's go, and you can't,
Yeah.
and you the one, like, I'm the artist,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
So to everybody else, I'm looking like I'm popping, but I'm parking my bucket around the corner from the club and hopping in with the homies, and the homie, you know, with the homie Meek hopping in his whip, and the homie Yacht taking off his jewelry, putting it on me so I can go perform.
Yeah,
I'm the
yeah.
brokest one there, looking like I'm. You feel me? Like fake it till you make it, for real.
For
You
real,
feel
for
me?
real. Uh-huh.
And so, but in it realistically though, I was struggling, and so it became easier because of the proximity to be like, yo, shoot me some of that weed, right? Shoot me some of them pills, right? And so I dabble. I'll say I tried almost every hustle in the book.
Yeah.
From check fraud, counterfeit to, you know, the sold a little weed, little pills, a little this, a little that. I done touched everything, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, the last straw for me was the prostitution, right?
Yeah,
The pimping thing, right? And it came when I was at the lowest point in my life financially, and I started going to church, right? I always believed in God.
You were aware.
I was definitely aware.
It's amazing, bro. Like, I don't mean to cut you off, but it's amazing how we could be aware. Because even like growing up Southwest A-Leap, Texas, lots of folks are aware of my story, my background, you know, hanging out with the drug dealers, the killers, the pimps, right? And but we can go play basketball, right? Different places. Amity, I can name all these other places here in Houston. But if we ever played at a church, if we ever played ball on church grounds, and let somebody accidentally cuss, right?
Exactly.
Even the hardest of the hardest dudes, they be like, "Hey, bro, you know we had a church, dog."
Exactly.
So there was always
There's
an awareness.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Right? And that's the part, right? The Bible says, and this was one of the scariest verses at the time, you know, you believe that God is one, you do well, but even the demons believe and tremble. So it's like, oh shoot. The demons know God is real. They know God is God, but their response, what's the difference between their response and my response to that information? You know what I'm saying? And so I had this, I've always had this
to be scared.
Exactly.
You feel me? They got enough sense to be, and the fear of the Lord is the
tremble.
beginning of all knowledge.
Exactly.
Dog, my bad, bro.
No, you good.
I got you.
And so look where the struggle sent me first, right? Me and my cousin, rest in peace, my cousin Fee, he just passed a few weeks ago. And but we both struggling, both our cars go out. So we end up having to share a rent-a-car. He rented a week, I rented a week. He
Please
pay a
tell me
week,
you ain't get him from
I
Enterprise.
pay a week. I don't even know.
Okay.
I know we
'Cause
was
if one more person say Enterprise on this show, anyway, keep my bad.
we was getting hit over the head though, but we was doing it how we had to do it, right?
Yeah, whatever it takes.
And so we going everywhere together because we splitting this rental car, and he was playing the saxophone for the church, so I go with him to the church and I sit there through the, you know what I'm saying, Bible study, through the rehearsals, all this stuff, right? So then I start getting into the Bible. Money get low. I end up, you know, meeting this young lady who turns out to be a prostitute. Next thing I know, we running around getting money, bouncing from city, and it's easy to do. It's easier to do because it was already close to me.
Yeah.
We had already been out in Vegas and doing this stuff. It just wasn't me.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're around it long enough, especially if you don't see somebody go to jail,
Ooh.
you know what I'm saying? You see the wins and you don't see no losses, it becomes easier for you to take that step.
Yeah.
And so the money starts coming. It was fastest money I ever got in my life, most money I was ever making in my life. And so, you know, we bouncing around. I'm gonna try to, cause I can drag it on.
Nah, man, this is it, bro. Because there's somebody out there right now, bro, that is either, it may not be the exact same storyline, right? But there's somebody else who is in proximity to a lot of things that are hindering them from reaching their full potential, right? God always had a plan for your life.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? It's just you was in the wrong environment. And a lot of times you blossom where you're planted. And if you're planted in a particular environment, you know, you're gonna end up blossoming, based upon that particular surrounding and that soil.
Exactly.
You feel me?
That's
So
real.
it's like, hey, you got to get about that environment
Bruh.
and that proximity. So
But that was the hard. But so look, I started getting into the Bible,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
You feel me?
Right, right.
But then not only did the money come, but you want to keep it real, so you get back around the homies and your light ain't that strong. You feel me?
Yeah.
And so you get swallowed by the darkness, and instead of you going and being a light, you jump and joining back into the darkness, and you end up where you started.
Yeah.
And so around this time, we getting money. I remember it was, Yacht on this floor, Meek on this floor, Biz on this floor, and we getting money, and then one day the young lady says, "Yo, can you take me to go pick up my little brother at practice?" I'm like, "Cool." We go. I'm thinking he maybe at sports or basketball practice or something, right? We pull up to a church. Apparently he's like drumming or something for the church, and that's the practice.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I go, I'm sitting in there, and then I come to find out like this is her family's church, and her father's the pastor of this church. And so it really rocked me because I started going to church, and then I left because of the money.
Yeah.
I left to chase the money, and now I'm back in church feeling like the devil, though. I'm back in church in opposition to God. And so I'm meeting her father, and hey, how you doing? Because I'm still a respectful young man, all that. But bruh, like, I'm like, man, I felt so weird. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I don't
that
know.
conviction, bro.
Yeah, that
like
conviction,
that.
it really hit. And that was like the start of God really showing me like how far I was getting while still feeling like I was close. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And because I never like I said, I grew up with a single mother. My grandmother stayed in our same apartment complex. So my love, respect for women was always super high. And so I would have never pictured myself doing anything like that. But it's always steps. It's always small steps that you don't notice to get you to where you never thought you'd be. And so that's what happened with me. And that's when I realized, okay, you know what? One, people like to get mad at God and blame God for their life, but the truth is, He gave me a map. I didn't follow it, so when I got lost and ended up wherever I ended up, it was because of all the decisions I made. I made every decision that put me in my situation. I tried everything but God, right?
Come on.
Oh, I'll try selling weed. I'll try selling pills. I'll try this. I'll try that. But I never really, truly tried to follow the Lord. And so that Matthew 6:33 is what changed my life. That seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you, right? I was out here trying to get all these things added unto me and not seeking Him first. I would say God first.
Come on.
But
Because it
when
was cute. It was
yeah,
catchy.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And ultimately, like, you know what I'm saying? But in my reality, when I woke up pleasing God and seeking God was not first. It was how I'm going to get this money, how I'm going to get to the bag. You know what I'm saying? And then if I can do this in a way that doesn't displease God, I will. But if I have to do it in a way that God is not pleased with, I still will. And that's what I did. And so I was
Yeah.
like, Lord, I can't be God over my life no more.
Yeah.
I'll make a terrible God. You know what I'm saying? For real. Like I have nobody to blame but myself for the majority of decisions that I've made, and I can't fix it. I keep trying. I feel like that's the loop we end up stuck in.
Yeah,
Is we're like, you break your life, and that's what happened to me. I broke my life, and I'm like, nah, I got it. I can fix it. And then you break it in more pieces. No, hold on. I can fix it. I got it, right? And so this year's going to be my year. This year's going to be my year, right? And I got it. And then you now your life is in shambles and way more pieces than it was when God called you in the first place.
Yeah, man.
And so
You've been over here trying to get the crazy glue. and put the
Bruh.
pieces back together, but this piece don't go with this piece.
Bruh,
Somehow you end up breaking that piece because you was trying to fix it too. Like now you trying to
Legit
fix it,
trying.
but you breaking it because you not qualified. Can you imagine trying to fix your own teeth, dog?
Bruh.
Or like I know some people who can cut their own hair, but I'm not one of them. You feel me?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I'm not one of them. Like if I'm in the mirror trying to line me up, oh, it's about to be jacked up, right?
And you was literally trying to fix
I was
your
trying,
hair,
bro.
and mess it up worse. You feel me? Mess your hairline up.
Yes, dog.
And so that's what life was. And so I had to fully surrender
Yeah.
and hand those pieces over to God. And the God that we serve is willing to take those pieces, no matter how many pieces you hand him,
Yeah.
he's willing to take those and start putting them back together for you. And so, how can you not rock with that?
Man,
You feel me?
yeah, man. He definitely has a unique ability of making a masterpiece out of a mess. Beauty from the ashes. But like you said, if we just surrender, that church moment, right? When you took old girl to the church and met her family and started feeling like low. Was that the breaking point? Like, what happened afterwards, right? Like, what were the steps? It ain't got to be like a linear equation, if you will. But I know it didn't like, boom, God came out of nowhere and my life has changed. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that was the beginning of it, and him just showing me what I was becoming, and that I was able to start. I was starting to be able to. I was becoming numb, right? The young lady would say things like that. She was abused when she was younger. Had been raped. All this, and the God in me wanted to speak life, but the part of me that knew that would stop my money kept my mouth shut. Like, that's evil, yo. That's evil.
Yeah,
To
bro.
know to do good, to know that you can say, that you can speak life in this situation, and you don't, because if you do, it'll stop your money. And that's why I go so hard at hip hop, because I feel like people know they could be speaking life, but if they do, it'll stop their money, so they continue to speak death. Like, but so that
or they do it in a way that is nice, like or politically correct. Like they'll say some of the right things, but continue to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Like we ain't gotta go there, but you know exactly what I'm talking
Right.
about. But you continue to progress. You start to feel that
I start to
brokenness,
get
right?
I start to get afraid of the fact that I'm becoming numb. Because I feel, looking back, I feel like God was always with me.
Yeah.
Right. But when I did wrong, I felt wrong.
Okay. Yeah, I know that feeling.
You feel me?
That's how you know.
And that's how I
Yeah.
know, like, but when I started to be able to do wrong and didn't feel wrong, that was scary.
Yeah.
And I said, nah, don't take your hands off me. Like, don't forget me. Don't hand me over to a reprobate mind. I didn't know that term
Yeah,
at the time, because I didn't know the Bible like that.
Yeah.
But
there was still a sense, there was an
I want
awareness.
to feel wrong when I do wrong. You feel me?
Like, yeah. Like, if
And
I step out of bounds, I need some correction. It's like those, you ever been driving on the freeway and they got those, like, little...
The little bump joints?
Them little bump joints. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know what they call.
Yeah,
But
the bump joints. That's what we're going to call them.
You start
The
falling
bumpies.
asleep a little bit,
Yeah.
and they wake you up real quick.
Facts.
I need those.
Yeah,
I don't ever
exactly.
want to, like, live my life without those joints. If I
Exactly.
start dozing off or start falling asleep or getting distracted, texting while driving or whatever the case may be, bro, I want to make sure I got those bump joints.
And some people would prefer not to be bothered by those bumpy things, right? Some people don't know that what's on the other side of them. You know what I'm saying? And so, but as a believer, you definitely thank God for those.
Come on. And it's funny because today's, like, I kind of pay attention to the little verse of the day on the YouVersion app from time to time. And I think it was in James where it says that it's sin to know what to do but not do it. Like, that's sin. We always think of sin in terms of items, right? Like, don't, commit adultery, don't kill, don't do this, don't do that. But bottom line is, like, when you know what to do and you don't do it, that's sin. Because that opens up the door to everything, right? It's like, you should be waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, but you don't. You know you shouldn't be eating this, but you do. Like a lot of the stuff that we do and we give ourselves passes for, technically, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but fast track a little bit, bro, because you're rapping, you're making money. When did you make the decision to go all in?
As far as Christian rap?
Yeah, not just Christian rap, not just Christian rap.
Full time.
Like full time, like Lord, you have my life. I'm done. Like, all right, whatever I got to do to put you first. Because even your record label is God over money, right? Money was your God for so long. I'm assuming that that's the reason why you branded it like that, right?
It wasn't I wouldn't say it was my God, but I put it before him. And so that situation is where God over money came from.
Come on.
Right? Because I definitely put money over God. I was starting to follow God. The money came. I was out. All right, I'll see you later. You know what I'm saying? And so around that same time, you had a lot of dudes was yelling money over everything, money over everything. So I started being like, all right, well, God over that then. God over money. You know what I'm saying? And so it was my life did change in a way overnight. You know what I'm saying? I remember when me just crying and on the church pew, like, and this kind of stuff never happened to me, right? But I'm crying on the church pew in the back, just, praising God and apologizing, you know what I'm saying? And so I remember leaving and just feeling like I was on cloud nine. And, I asked God, help me to want to read your word. Because the truth is, I tried to read the Bible mad times, and it's like forcing. It felt heavily forced. I would rather be anywhere else right now, but I'm about to try to get through this one chapter. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, Lord, I feel that way. Like, give me a desire to want to read your word.
Yeah.
And he did that. And one morning I woke up like I'm about to read the Bible from the beginning to the end. And when I sat there, because I never liked reading as a child, the ADHD. It's hard to just sit here. I don't get lost in the book like everybody else. You feel me? My mind be everywhere else.
I've got like 7 books right now that I've started and read here, read there. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And I'm probably never going to finish them.
That's how I write records. Look. I write piece over here, piece over here.
Yes, bro.
But see, look, now I got lost. Where was I?
No, they got 2 people with ADHD.
That's how it works. That's how it works.
Nah, you was you were talking about how it happened overnight and God gave you the desire.
Oh,
you woke up and you said, "Man, I'm gonna start reading from the beginning."
I'm gonna start reading from the beginning to the end, and from that time, bruh, I would get lost in His Word. Like I'll be reading, blowing through chapters. But at the time, right? Because I'm in Compton like every day.
Yeah.
At this time, you know what I'm saying? So every day I go to the block, and I'm thinking about what's gonna happen next in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Dang, I wonder what's gonna happen with David, and you know what I'm saying? Like I would have a desire to get back to the Bible to see what's gonna happen. You feel me?
Yeah. Because there's some dope stories in that joint. Like, especially you start talking about David and Bathsheba and how he tried to plot that whole thing out with you know.
Bruh, it's a lot, but I had never had that desire before.
Yeah.
And I wanted to I didn't want it to go nowhere. I've never wanted to read the Bible. And now that I want to, I'm holding on to this, and I need to stay close because I realize, and it can happen even now, right? I realize if you let space start growing, that space can start getting wider and wider, and you won't even realize until something catastrophic happens.
Yeah.
And now you like, dang, how did I get here? And so I grabbed onto the Lord, and I was like this. And
when truth be told, the signs have always been there. It's like that in life too, practically speaking. Let's say you get a crack in the wall, right? It's just a symptom to a much bigger foundational problem, right? But if it goes unchecked, that crack gonna get longer, deeper, wider.
But the crack's gonna happen so slow that you're not gonna notice it day by day.
No.
You're gonna look up one time and be like, yo, this crack that used to be right there is all the way. And that's the Bible says it's the small foxes that spoil the vineyard.
Bro, I used to be a youth pastor, and one of the illustrations I used to use when talking about sin is I would take toilet paper, right? It's one of the thinnest, sheets of paper known to man. Well, unless you get
Yeah.
Charmin, right? You know what I'm saying? But even Charmin is easy to break, right?
Yeah.
And anybody can do it. An infant, the strongest man in the world, the weakest person in the world can rip and tear toilet tissue, right? I would take toilet tissue and I would wrap somebody up. They could break free, right? I would wrap them up. I take several, next thing you know, I'm wrapping them, and I'm talking, I'm wrapping them. Next thing you know, 5-10 minutes go, I done went through like 3, 4, 5 different rolls of toilet paper, and I've got the strong kid too, like the football player, right? I want to make sure I get the dude that can really hold his own. Next thing you know, after I go through like 6, 7 rolls of toilet paper, this dude can't break free from some toilet paper. You know what I'm saying? It be the small things left unchecked.
That's for real.
That you can't break free
That's
from.
a great illustration too.
Listen, the enemy's bro, he's swift, dog. He's sneaky.
And that's our problem. We can't act like the Bible calls him a worthy adversary. He's not no slouch. And he studied you. You know what I'm saying? He knows if you got ADHD. He knows if you have low self-esteem. He knows that if your weight makes you feel ugly, that he can send somebody to make you feel pretty. You know what I'm saying? He knows what he's doing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I tell people that often, the enemy knows how to give good gifts too. And sometimes we interpret blessings from the enemy.
It'd be an apple with a worm in it though. His gifts always got some underhanded.
You feel me?
He'll wrap the lie in the truth.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? With Adam and Eve, he was kind of telling them the truth.
Straight up.
In the day that you eat of this fruit, you will be like God, knowing good and evil. They said like they will be, now they're like us, knowing good and evil. Like that's real. But he says, surely in the day that you eat of it, you won't die. Well, they didn't die in that day. But that day that they ate of it, death became promised to them. Death became a sure thing from that time on. Yeah. And so it's like he's kind of telling the truth, but not the whole truth. And like, bruh, that kind of stuff right there, like he's smart. You know what I'm saying?
It'll lead you astray. I like hanging around older folks because they always got them cool sayings. It's like sin will take you further than you're willing to go and cost you more than you're willing to pay. You know what I'm saying?
Keep you longer than you wanted to stay.
Keep you longer than you want to stay. It's always hard to get out once you jump in, man.
Bruh.
But dog, I'm so grateful that you were able to break free. That God placed that desire in you and you accepted it and you chased it. Because that's what it sounds like. It sounds like you began to chase it, right?
Exactly.
And here we are today. Yeah. You've been dropping albums. You've been making an impact across the globe. Because it's more than music. It's more than music, man. And if nobody else, personally, I've been the beneficiary of your commitment to Christ. And so I just want to tell you thank you, dog.
Man, you know appreciate you, man. Glory to God, for real.
And was that easy, making the switch from, we don't have to get into the whole, like, this ain't one of them shows where we talk about, like, Christian hip-hop and Christian rapper, or I'm a rapper that's, like, we ain't doing that.
No.
That's been done before. But was it easy for you to become sold out in your occupation? Let's talk about that.
It was not. It came and it was phases and steps to it. Okay. And so I first got, and I don't remember the order of where I tried to do Christian rap, right? Because people would hear me put in a different order and be like, see, he's lying, and try to, they want a reason for real. People look for a reason to discard what you're saying so that they don't have to acknowledge the truth in it, right?
Yeah.
And so
it's like, now you wouldn't go acknowledge the truth, no way.
Yo. So I got saved. I believe it was first I stopped cussing.
Okay.
Right? I used to cuss a lot.
I mean, just in the Jay-Z joint alone, like, you know what I'm saying?
That was
like,
nigga. You feel me? And so I stopped cussing in my music, but I was still doing it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so I remember I'm in Beverly Hills performing at the Aqua Lounge, and I'm on stage and I'm just editing out the curse words. You feel me? And then there's like, okay, now I'm gonna stop talking about shoot killing and all that stuff. I'm just gonna make records for the girls, right? And so then it's like, well, I'm just gonna do Christian rap. And then I tried it, and it was corny, bro. It was whack.
Let's just be real.
It
Like,
was
thank you,
whack.
bro.
It was whack, bro. And a lot of people, y'all gotta acknowledge, like when we first come over, sometimes that first little bit where we don't really, it's not really in us like that, and we don't know. We just kind of regurgitating stuff that sounds like Christianese talk that we've heard that must sounded whack. And I remember talking to God like, I can't make music for the devil that's doper than the music I'm making for you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not where they do that at.
Yeah, yeah.
And so then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and sit it down. You know what I'm saying? And I remember praying to God, and I'm just like, Lord, you know how much I love this, but if you want me to sit it down, I'll sit it down. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny. I haven't told this story a lot. Just on a side note, I remember one time I was in Compton. I'm walking to my auntie's house, and I'm thinking. I'm not even talking out loud, but almost like in my mind, I'm talking to God.
Oh yeah.
And I'm asking what I should do with this music because, bro, we've been grinding. Like, how do I gotta tell somebody who's like family to me, this, over here selling, doing whatever, so that they can invest in me. That we gotta scrap this album now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
we've been last 3 years we grinding. The more, and for just a message for anybody out there, the more you invest in something, the harder it is gonna be to pull out of it or turn your back on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I'm walking to my auntie's house, and I'm thinking about what I should do with the music and all that. I go inside my auntie's house. I check my MySpace. I got MySpace.
Yeah.
Look, I got a message. No, that ain't the part. I got a message from Jesus Christ in my inbox.
Chill out, bro.
Listen, I'm telling you, bruh, it said Jesus Christ, and it had the little picture of white Jesus, little black and white picture,
Yes.
bro.
The long straight hair.
Yeah. So I open it, and that mug says, yo, you should start making music for the Lord. I don't even know. I'm not talking about the Lord at the time. There's nothing publicly that says, you feel me?
Yeah.
And so now that I go back, I'm like, wow, look at that.
That might have been. He
Like,
definitely
Lord,
used it.
Did you hit me on my face?
Hey, God will use anything.
Hey, it was prophetic though.
You feel me?
Because I never saw myself being here. Not only that, I dropped all mixtapes. I dropped at least 7 mixtapes in the world. I was preparing to drop my album, got saved, and never dropped it. So my first album was a Christian rap album.
Ooh.
So God knew my purpose from the gate. You know
Okay,
what I'm saying?
so-
I was never going to drop
Man,
a secular
dog.
album.
That just made me think, bro. Like, so God can use anything, right? We joking, but God used MySpace to completely change the trajectory of your life, right?
Nah, because
And-
I ain't listening to that like that. I ain't gonna gas, right?
But
Like, yeah, God used that, and then
And it's
I was like,
Yeah,
you feel
yeah.
me? But then looking back, that's how it be.
It planted that seed, though.
Usually when we look back,
you like,
then you can see it. You feel me?
Yeah. But scripture does imply that if he can use a donkey,
Facts.
right, he can speak through the mouths of babes. Like God has used ravens. God has used so many different things historically and biblically, and even people who have these encounters with God. Like sometimes it's in the places that you least expect it.
He can show you in the way that you need to see it.
Yeah,
too.
yeah, straight up.
Everybody got, like, with me, I've always been more skeptical. I'm a skeptic, right? And so
Yeah.
he knows how I need to see it,
Man.
to not write it off or not be like, nah, that's
Yeah,
just a
nah.
coincidence. Like, he knows
Yeah,
how to
yeah.
get the message through.
Yeah. No, yeah. You clearly aren't the naive, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
But bro, that's crazy, dog. That's crazy.
But wait, I'm gonna share another story.
Come on, that's what we here for,
I'm gonna
dog.
share another one, right? Because we talking about how he can use anything and all that, right?
That's what I want to know.
And this is where
He can use somebody from LA to come to H-Town.
yo,
No, I'm just saying.
look, God humbled me real quick. Somebody hit me on MySpace. Now, when you're, in the position I am, everybody wants to have a word for you. Everybody wants to, hear, thus saith the Lord, this right. Everybody wants to prophesy over you. You know what I'm saying? And bro, you see my ring. Oh, you're married and I'm a rapper. Oh, I see a contract and I'm like, nah, you gotta come with something that, you know what I'm saying? That
I see what you did there.
That you can't just put together from knowing my story or my looking at me.
Right.
And so I'm very skeptical because I take what God says seriously, and I can't afford to be misled and waste time on something that He didn't really say.
Yeah.
And so
That's deep.
and so this dude hits me on Facebook, and he's like, "Yo, I have a." But then look, I never want to turn away something because I know he can use anything. I never want to just completely ignore something, so I'll hear it out. You feel me?
Yeah.
And so the dude hits me on Facebook, and he's like, "Yo, I have a word from you from the Lord." I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, here we go again, right? But I'm like, cool.
I'm gonna need you to cooperate this, Lord. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I'm like, cool. Then he says, okay, I'm gonna go get it ready and then I'm gonna come back. I'm like, what you mean? Where you about to go get my word from, bro? Just tell me and then I'll know.
I never heard that before,
bro,
dog.
He said, I'm about to go prepare it or whatever he said. And so I'm like, all right. And so, bro, he sends me, I don't think he sent me the audio. He sent me like a link to a page with the audio on it. It's an audio voice message from him, bro. But I push play. That joint is like Bizzle. The Lord says. It was so corny, bro. It was the wackest thing ever. But the stuff he was saying was dead on. I could not even laugh.
Yeah.
And I knew it was God because everything in my flesh would have ignored this dude. Because just the effects and I'm like, bro, you doing too much.
The
presentation was so bad, and it showed me that God can get you through a presentation that you would have otherwise rejected.
Yeah.
But I couldn't. It's like I'm listening, and it's like I know this is funny, but I can't laugh because he's dead on. True. He's dead on, and I call my wife. I call Shavonna in there. I'm like, babe, come in here. I was like, yo, this dude, I would normally laugh this kind of thing off because of the way this joint came, but he's dead on. Like, this has to be from God. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I use that to say, like, for real, your spirit, you can know when it's from God, especially when he sends it in a way that you would have rejected, and your skepticism and your, bro, what are you doing? Why did you have to record it with the echoes and try to sound like God?
You could have typed this joint, like,
bro, you could have but it was on.
Yeah.
It was on point.
Look, he will use whatever he's got to use. You
Bruh,
may not have read
He uses the foolish things to confound the wise.
That's what.
So when he uses the fishermen to flip over to turn the world upside down, when he uses a little kid from the hood, you know what I'm saying? Whoever he wants to use, he can use, and you want to be careful that you don't reject the messenger. You know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't look right in your eyes, right?
Yeah.
Who was it? Saul looked like the guy. David was the guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
David was the little guy. It says Saul was taller in stature and more like he looked the role of the kind of guy you would think God would use. And then here comes little bitty David that they never even considered.
Even amongst his brothers.
He was the last one.
He was the last. They didn't even consider him when Samuel came looking for David.
Listen, But
It's like, don't you have another? Don't
the
you have another
last
son?
shall be first. Like, but look, but this is what God does, bro. He uses the smallest guy to slay the giant. That's how he gets the glory. If he uses another giant, then it makes too much sense to you. So you're not gonna ask yourself, how is it that this happened? This must have been God.
Yeah.
But when you see this little dude who should have got washed, and he takes his giant out, and he's talking about God, you like, man, maybe it is something.
Yeah.
Right, with Gideon, he's like, nah, you got too many people. They gonna think y'all did it, right? I'll shrink the number of people down, then go to war.
But what? That
So
don't
when
even
it
make
happens,
sense, God. Like, it don't make sense.
it don't. That's why it don't need to make. If it makes sense, they're not gonna look for me in it. You know what I'm saying, right?
It's like it don't make sense that somebody from LA, from a single parent household, you know what I'm saying, who used to sell every type of narcotic you can get your hands on.
I dabbled a little bit, right?
Little bit.
Cause Cats be trying to.
Yeah, trying to make it seem like you was
sell
a
a dime
kingpin.
bag,
Yeah,
and then now
yeah.
they Rick Ross.
Right.
Like
Nah.
I'll never want to fabricate my joint.
Let's put it in
I
perspective.
I dabbled in a little bit of,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
We wasn't out here being Scarface or nothing.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Nah, far
but we
from
did
it.
some things that we're not proud of.
Facts.
And God could use that. And God could take people like myself and you shared with me a little bit, you know, two guys with ADHD to confine the wise, right?
Facts.
There's things that we've both accomplished, you yourself especially. You know, it's like, dang, I didn't even know I had ADHD. I didn't have the tools. I didn't have the resources. I didn't have the support that most people get when they're diagnosed at an early age. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you said that you just got diagnosed not too long ago, right?
Yeah, within the past year.
Within the past year, bro. And the only reason why I bring that up is because myself included. Like, I just got diagnosed maybe a couple months ago. You know what I'm saying? And grew up feeling like a failure. You know,
Facts.
but it's like the things but now that I go back and I look back, bro, I'm like, the accomplishments that I did accomplish, I'm like, dog, like, there's no way I could take credit for it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And praise God, but that's the goal is for him to get the glory. There's more safety in him getting the glory than us getting the glory, right?
'Cause I can't handle it.
We definitely can't handle
The
it.
weight of his glory.
Not only that, right? But picture my son, right, who's 10 years old. He's on the bench press, and it's 200 pounds on that joint. And every day we go out there, and I'm like, all right, your turn, Sonny. And he's lifting it, and I'm pulling up on the bar. And he's like, I can do it. The day that he the day that he forgets that I'm there and that it was me, it can be his death.
Yeah.
The day he goes out there thinking I did it in all my strength, that's going to be a problem. You know what I'm saying? His safety is in knowing that his helper is there. You feel me? And so for us to start to, and it happens from a child, bro. You're a child, and when you have kids, bro, it opens up doors of understanding in that relationship.
Like, I get it now, guys.
Exactly.
I get it.
And so, right, you have a child who can do nothing apart from you, bro. Nothing. If you let the child lay there, it will lay there. It'll crap on itself. It'll starve to death. It can do nothing apart from you. It gets a little older. The child gets a little older. It begins to walk. Now you're picking it up. It's kicking. It wants you to put it down. Right? The child wants to get down. It's kicking. It don't even know what happens if it's successful and it gets loose. Right? The baby does not know that if I do this and I'm successful in my attempt,
it's over.
I'm falling and I'm hitting the ground. Right? That's us with God. The more we start to, okay, now I can walk on my own. Put me down. Now I can do this on my own. I don't need you to do this anymore. I can do this. Right? And it's in his grace and his mercy that he holds us even sometimes when we kicking, like, put me down, because he knows what would happen if he let us go. You know what I'm saying? And so, man, I praise God for his mercy, and he deserves all the glory. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
All of it.
Dog, that story reminds me of an analogy. I can't remember where I heard it from. It was probably like Tony Evans, T.D. Jakes, or somebody like that. But they always said that God's delay sometimes in coming back or just showing up in our lives is a lot of times his kindness. Because
Facts.
think about it. If God were to come back and some of the things that we have in our lives, right, would totally destroy us, right? Because God cannot, deal with sin. It's almost like an electrical outlet, right? If I took a fork and shoved it into an electrical outlet with full power on, like I would die. But God keeps the power off sometimes because he knows that if we're gonna stick that fork in there, we're gonna die. Like we got that fork still in there. You know what I'm saying? And his glory, the weight of his glory is just too much. That's why in terms of us like ascending to the hills, like keeping a clean heart, clean hands and a pure heart.
What's funny is we actually have a little bit of that electricity running through us. You know what I'm saying? To add to that.
Come on,
But
dog.
yeah,
Man, dog.
I feel you.
But bro, that's crazy. A lot of that stuff I didn't know, dog. I didn't know, and I appreciate you sharing, man. And it's led you to experience God in ways that many are gonna be blessed by, especially through your music and through your life, bro. I want to make sure I'm very, very clear. It's not just the music, dog. It's your life that has made an impact on so many. But let's talk about the music though, dog, because you got a new project coming out.
Yeah.
Like I told you earlier, I pre-ordered. I went ahead and got
Man,
that
that's
joint.
what's up.
Got to get the app. You got to pre-order that mug, and then you got to copy and paste that long code to get the album.
Man,
Look, I'm gonna give you a hard time, bro. Every time I want to jam, I gotta go find the code. No,
I know. After I did that, I was like, man, I made this password man long, yo, because I don't like typing shit.
I copy and paste that joint, but it's so worth it, dog. You got folks like D1 on that joint. But there's a couple of records on there that are my favorites. I like the one you got with Brian. That joint is gaining a lot of like attention right now. What was the other one we were talking about earlier, bro?
Like you,
dog. Yeah. That one, like, it's a vibe, bro. And the people use that word vibe like over excessively this day and age, but it really is, dog. Like as a DJ, I can play that in any environment. Like I don't care if I'm like at a club, at a wedding, you know what I'm saying, or if I'm at a church event. Like that record will resonate anywhere, dog. But
praise God.
dog, tell me about the inspiration for this particular project, and what's your favorite thing about it?
So this particular project is it really symbolizes me coming out of the place I was in for the last album. So the last album was called Soul Therapy. It was kind of birthed out of the pit of my depression, right? And so I like to write from where I am, right? I never like to be in the valley, but writing like I'm on the mountaintop, because that can become a whole other thing where someone who's down, someone who struggles, someone who deals with depression would think that God is not with them because they deal with that, because their life would look more like yours if they was closer to him, right? Or if they was with him. And so I always try to be transparent, whether it's, me as a father, my struggles as a husband, whether it's with lust, whatever the case may be, I want to be fully transparent so that somebody watching it who might be able to relate to that can know that they can relate to that, but they can also pursue God and have a relationship with God as well. And that, it's not just you. You feel me? And so I was in a not so great place writing that, but I know that God uses all things for the good, right? Of those who love him and are called according to his purpose. And so everything, that's why I pull from my life, because even the worst parts of my life, God can use to change the life of another person. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so and that I've gotten so many testimonies from the Soul Therapy album, and it's not like it had to be. It was a sacrifice on my part. That's why I took so long to put it out, because I'm like, man, I don't know if this is gonna sound boring. Like it's so dark and heavy and deep. All of my albums, you'll notice that there's balance. I have up, down. I have fast, slow, I have hard, I have singing records. I try to balance them out so that you can get every one of those experience without having to put on another CD.
Yeah.
You feel me? But with this one, it was like all low, all deep, all, and I know it didn't have the same replay value.
Right.
So now you got a business decision to make because the stream, you when you hear Monster, you might, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you hear Black and Blue, you hear these records, but you're not gonna just keep playing. You're not gonna play them in the gym. You're not gonna play
Yeah.
them with you when you with your homies.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm
Right.
like,
That one you gonna play when you by yourself in the car.
you know
You
what
know
I'm
what I'm saying?
saying?
Like,
And it can't blow your mind every single time.
right.
It's gonna have that initial impact. And so I'm like, I was like, man, this don't have the same replay value. It ain't no bangers on here. You feel me? But I was like, maybe this is what God wants me to drop
Yeah.
because maybe this is what people need. You know what I'm saying? I've always been super bold. I've always roared like a lion. I've always been a soldier. You feel me? So maybe people need to see me as a wounded soldier in this season and me not hiding my wounds, right?
Mm.
And so now with Lightwork 3, this is literally like me climbing up out of that, right? And so that's what it sounds like. It's the worship, right? When you hear me singing like you,
Yeah, dog.
nobody, like all of these, I'm singing to God, like I'm praising, I'm worshiping my way up out of here. I'm getting back into being triumphant. You know what I'm saying? And it's still a road. I'm not necessarily singing from the mountaintop,
Yeah.
but I'm you hearing me on my climb
On my
up.
climb.
You feel me? And so that's what this project represents for me.
That's crazy, bro. And I think that life is ups and downs.
It
It's
is.
rain and sunshine. It's
Listen,
day and it's night.
that soul therapy, what I say, I wrote from the pits of my depression, like
Yeah.
the lowest of the valley. I was coming up out of that about 2 weeks ago. My cousin passed.
Oh, that's it.
Back down to the bottom.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like it was, it was like I was right back there again.
Yeah.
That fast. You know what I'm
But I
saying?
think
So
that
that's a down.
important, bro, for you to share that because you've had a lengthy career, right? We're just talking about the career now,
Yeah.
but even life, right? Marriage, children, and people think that okay, as you like, they think that this Christian life or life in general is just this linear process. That as you get bolder and grow and more mature, you don't experience hardship. Nah, sometimes the hardships that you encounter as you get older are like more severe than the little hardships you experienced when you was in your 20s and your teens, right? You lose
Facts.
a loved one. Think about it. We getting older, bro. Like
It's
death is
gonna
going to be
start
more
happening.
frequent.
Exactly.
And not because like of the types of deaths we experienced when we were kids.
Yeah.
You know, because of the foolishness that we were a part of. You know what I'm saying? Like this is
Exactly.
gonna be loved ones who die from old age or sickness and illness, and you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But not just death, but bro, like people think that when you reach a level like yourself, that you're exempt from pain, that you're exempt from going through the valley. But sometimes you hit a mountain. When you get to a top of a mountain, what you gonna do? You gonna stay there, or you gonna go to the next mountain? But when you want to get to the next mountain, what you gotta do? You gotta go down, bro,
Facts.
and then you gotta climb back up.
Facts.
And I'm just grateful that you've been transparent throughout these years to share that, to not give folks this false hope that it's just all sunshine and lilies out there. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. It's definitely not, and I don't want the valley to scare people away. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to walk away from when you're in the valley. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got nothing to climb down.
Yeah.
You feel me? And so I don't want people to get into those times and just be like, man, I'm about to just turn and maybe this isn't for me or maybe God's not with. No, God's with you, bro. Like a lady one time came up to me after the show, and I spoke on depression there, and she was like, yo, I just want you to know that you're not alone. There were people in the Bible who also dealt with depression, right? Where do you think David was during some of those Psalms
Come on.
when he's writing those things, right? Jeremiah, the weeping prophet,
Yep.
right? It's sometimes when you have a job and you're dealing with God's people, bro. I would be if I'm honest, I would say probably people, I don't want to say Christians, but people who call themselves Christians have probably contributed to a lot, maybe the most of the pain that you deal with, because you love God so much, but then you see people saying all the worst things. They're attributing it to the devil. They're doing all it. They're making YouTube videos. They're doing all it. And it's like, you start to see, bro, when it talks about being Christ-like, there's layers to that, bro. Being Christ-like is also, remember he said, John came not eating or drinking, and you said he had a demon. The Son of Man comes eating and drinking. You say he's a wine bibber and a drink. It's like bruh, no matter what they're going to have something to say. That part of it, right?
Yep.
Jesus Christ, he went to the cross. He didn't defend himself from all it. You feel me? I'm like, man, that part is hard to do. Who was he killed by? He was killed by the same people he was trying to help.
Bro, the album is fire. I still got a few more tracks I got to jam because I keep on jamming the same ones over and over again. I don't know if that's the ADHD or what, dog.
Right? Look, that's the thing about ADHD, right? Because there's can't focus, and then there's hyper focus. And it's like, bruh, and it's always, for me, now we about to get into something else. It's always at the worst time, bruh.
It's never when I need it, bro.
Never.
It's never when I need to do my taxes, dog.
Bruh,
like, why I can't get hyper focused on my taxes, dog?
It's when we about to leave the house in 10 minutes, I'll lock into writing a song. I'm like, it's always that time, bro. And don't ask me to clean out nothing, bro. Like, we go in the garage. Bruh,
I'm gonna clean it.
I done found a stack of CDs. I'm sitting in the car listening to each one, seeing what's on it.
Ain't no cleaning got done, dog.
At all.
Man, bro, no, I feel you, bro. So that's where I'm at right now. That's where I am in complete ADHD mode on your album on 2 tracks. You know what I'm saying? But before we leave, bro, I ask everybody this, man, because a friend of mine proposed this question to me not too long ago. I've helped a lot of businesses over the years, including my own. And one of the first places I always start when I'm consulting people is I'm like, hey, bro, make sure you start with your mission, right? Your why. You know, you can have your core values. You can have your vision. That's all important. But what's the point? Like, what's the mission? Bro, Bizzle, the man, not just the music, not just the career. What's the mission, dog?
I mean, honestly, my mission is not that deep, because my mission is to be where God wants me to be when he wants me to be there, right? To serve God, whatever that might look like in a season. So whether it's rapping, whether it's speaking, whether it's serving, whether it's giving, whether it's regardless of what it is, right? Because at one season in his life, David was the king, but in another one he was tending the sheep, and another one, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so, you know, when it comes to this music, I've always wanted to provide an alternative, right? I don't want people to just be able to choose between evil and less evil, but we need Christian rap in the mix so they can hear music that glorifies God and at least be able to choose.
Yeah.
Because in this industry, the right to choose is being taken away. You know what I'm saying? Or I've been to radio stations where they say, you know, that doesn't fit our format, and people might be offended about the Jesus stuff, and it's like, you know, and so I put out records where, like a record I did called Royalty, where they said, because I'm on the record like, yo, do you know you're a queen? Do you know that you're royalty? You know you're a star, and you don't have to show your body, and you don't have to do. They're like, oh, you're slut shaming. We're not posting this. That's the secular platform. Like, so
that's crazy.
That stuff I am
empowering and encouraging and uplifting, and you gonna.
They don't want that for the people. You know what I'm saying? And so I just want to get it to people so that they can have a choice. And my ultimate, and it's not just between positive and negative.
True.
It's I need y'all to get connected to Jesus. I need y'all to get connected to God.
Because what happens after that, that's between you and God.
That's straight between you and God, and it's it might not look like what it looked like on me, right? You know what I'm saying? It might but there's a call, there's a place that you're supposed to be. There's, you know, you Jonah right now, and you running. And so when you end up getting swallowed by the fish and all this, and you don't know why, it's because you're not where you're supposed to be. You wouldn't be in the mouth of the whale right now had you been where God initially wanted you to. But if he has to allow you to get gobbled up right now so that you can end up where you need to be, then that's what's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm just trying to get people to answer the call on their life, submit their lives to the Lord, or at least make the introduction. And then from there, whatever God wants to do, it could be 10 times what he's done in my life. You know what I'm saying? I just want to make the introduction.
That's it, bro. Make the introduction, dog. Look, it might come through MySpace. It might come through Facebook. Bro. Hey. And it might look different. I might have to show my ankles every now and then. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I appreciate you, man, for kicking it with me.
For sure.
All the work you've done throughout the years, bro. And just being a real one, bro. Man. Like not switching up, not changing up, not letting the world influence you, but being an influence and providing that alternative, dog.
Thank you.
Because it's made a huge difference in the way I live my life. So appreciate you, dog.
God, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate you having me too.
Already, dog. Already. Where we getting the album at, dog?
So you can get the album on iTunes, Spotify, everywhere. Wherever you want to get music, that's where it's going to be. So, April 21st is going to be everywhere, and just make sure you
But what if I don't feel like waiting till April 21st, though, bro? Like, I'm impatient.
If you don't feel like waiting.
Can I get, like, a little sneak peek, you know what I'm saying?
Look, you can download the God Over Money app, which you should do anyway, right? Because the direction that we're going in right now, we might not even be able to say half the things that we've said in this podcast on Instagram or Facebook. And so God Over Money is an app that we're building to continue to be able to maintain control of our own narratives and not be able to get, be silenced. So if you go download the God Over Money app, you can pre-order straight through us. And when you do that, you'll get an email and it'll give you a password to go to a secret section of the app to listen to the album today. Today.
It's going down, bro. I'm going to check out some of the other records and stop replaying the same ones over and over, dog. But it's been real, dog. I appreciate you, man. I can't wait to see you live in concert real soon. Hopefully, it's going down, bro.
Indeed. Hold on. Light Work Tour is coming up. It's me. It's Dayton. It's Miles Minnick. It's Scooty Watt. We in the middle of booking right now. So, if you like to bring that tour to your city, hit us up at godovermoneytours.com. If you just want to pull up and stay in touch with us, get the app, right?
Don't forget
I don't want to have to spend $1 million trying to reach y'all with ads to let you know I'm going to be in your city. If you got the app, I could just get to you directly.
You know what I'm saying?
Look, because everybody hit you after like, yo, I didn't even know y'all was going to be in town.
Bro,
that's because the algorithm didn't tell you I posted it. You feel me? So get the app, man, and we'll let you know when we're going to be in your city and come out. And, every time we go out on tour, we're praying and fasting for a word from God. We're not just going out there to entertain, but going out there to reach the people, whatever the Lord puts on our hearts at the time.
And it may be different city to city. You know what I'm saying? So it goes down. Bizzle, man, I appreciate you, bro. Light Work 3 is going down.
Indeed.
I appreciate y'all. Well, we just broke down the breakthrough once again, dog. I can't believe this. I will see y'all next week. Let's get it.